I made a serious accusation last time. I said that what happens near the equator in the intertropical convergence zone doesn't stay there in the ITCZ. I went even further to say that that line of surging hot and moist air along the equator ends up driving the worldwide weather. Our first step in understanding this was in acknowledging that hot moist air must certainly rise up to cold altitudes, where the moisture would be squeezed out as rain. And that's what that incredible line of clouds near the equator is all about. A lot of rain getting squeezed out of rising air. This is the average annual rainfall across the Pacific. There is no doubt this intertropical convergence zone exists and is powerful. So let's take the next step. Since that air in the zone is powerfully rising, do we run out of air down at the surface? And for that matter, what happens to all that rising air? Does it pile up at the top? You can't be too surprised at the answer. In the long run, there will have to be a circulation. The piled up air above will eventually head back to the source, the rising air which formed at the ITCZ. There is a particular thing to focus on though. While this sketch could also work for a single local thunderstorm, with the ITCZ we are talking about something much different. The rising air is in a long line roughly along the equator. So the air up high circulates out into the northern and southern hemispheres separately, and then both components move back towards the equator at the surface. This kind of circulation pattern will, in future nuggets, be the mechanism for moving the sun's energy out across the planet from the planet's midriff. A final point, we'll touch on the idea of air pressure often in the future. It's also called barometric pressure in weather circles. As the air was rising in the ITCZ, it's in a way creating a vacuum at the surface below. So we would experience a low pressure there. Elsewhere, as that air comes back down, it is now pressing down on the ground, creating a high pressure area. And what we call wind is simply the flow of air from a high pressure area into a low pressure area. Enough of that at this point. So what is our nugget this time? It's not very complicated. If that air is going to rise up into the atmosphere, it will have to be replaced. Ultimately, there will be a circulation up and out into the northern and southern hemispheres from the ITCZ band, and then back down to the surface and, finally, returning to the ITCZ. That circulation has been dubbed the Hadley cell and, incredible to grasp, extends around 1/3 of the distance to each of the poles from the equator. That's about 2,000 or so miles north and south. And though these sketches can't capture it, these cells only extend above the surface about 10 miles. Crazy but true. That's enough to chew on for this time. Enjoy it and come back for your next tasty morsel.